Can you believe it? Dongfeng Honda is offering a discount of 68,000 renminbi. You heard it right. That's 68,000 renminbi for Honda URV. That's 10,000 US dollars, 8,700 US dollars discount for a CRV. All of Dongfeng Honda's vehicles have seen an unprecedented discount. Except for Dongfeng Honda, all the vehicles of various brands with the word Dongfeng have double subsidies from both the manufacturer and the government. This C6 has a total subsidy of 13,000 US dollars. What does it mean? Its guide price is 30,000 US dollars. A discount of 13,000 US dollars means a nearly half price reduction. 17,000 US dollars for the Citroën C6. Can you imagine? What does involution mean? This is it. The term involution is online lingo used by the Chinese, referring to irrational competition within an industry. It's perfect to describe the current price cuts in China's auto industry. After the Chinese New Year on January 22, 2023, with Tesla taking the lead in dropping prices, a price cut frenzy that started with new energy vehicles has spread to gas-powered vehicles and is quickly moving. In March, this wave of price cuts reached an unbelievable height. According to incomplete statistics from the Chinese media, more than 40 brands and 100 models of vehicles in mainland China have implemented a price reduction promotion.
The store gave a big discount of more than 5,000 yuan, about 725 US dollars. In addition, the government offered a subsidy of 3,000 yuan, about 435 US dollars, and there are some gifts for us. These discounts saved me 10,000 yuan, about 1,450 US dollars. To buy the car that's less than 80,000 yuan, or about $11,603.
A March 13th report by the Chinese media Shanghai Traffic Radio quoted auto industry insiders as saying, "This price war is not a zero-sum game, but a negative-sum game, a suicidal price cut." One of the most dramatic initiatives in China's auto industry is the Hubei provincial government's initiative for Dongfeng Motor, in which both the government and the company provide subsidies for vehicle purchases. The subsidy covers a number of companies such as Dongfeng Honda, Dongfeng Nissan, and Dongfeng Citroën, involving a total of 56 models from 7 major brands. The maximum amount of subsidy amounts to about 13,500 US dollars for the corresponding models of Dongfeng Citroën's C6 Co-Creation Edition and C6 Comfort Edition. Dongfeng Citroën C6 and other models originally priced at more than 30,000 US dollars and are now selling for 17,000 US dollars after the subsidy. It's the equivalent of a discount of more than 60%. The Hubei provincial government initiated this campaign to promote auto sales. To enjoy the subsidy, vehicles must be purchased and licensed in Hubei province. The campaign started in early March and ends on March 31st. The news was instantly felt in China's auto circles. Many consumers snapped up the vehicles, causing some models to be sold out in a short period of time. The customers now don't even ask for detailed information and prices, but ask directly how to make an order. The subsidized price is attractive. Lovely price.
Such a big promotion.
I came here all the way from Tiananmen City. This model has been a sensation nationwide. I drove all the way from Jiangxi province for it.
Can I book one?
Yep.
Do I need to pay a deposit?
Yes, 5,000 yuan.
Today is the 8th day of the promotion. Due to the popularity, the stock we have here was sold out 1 or 2 days ago. The rest will have to be put on a wait list.
I learned about the Citroën discount recently. I was going to buy an electronic car, but now I shifted to this one. NetEase Auto published a review on March 7th that before the price cut, the Citroën C6 was a model with an extremely low presence in the market. This price cut frenzy fully confirms one statement, that is, there is no vehicle that cannot be sold, but only the prices that don't sell.
More and more customers have interest to know our brand. We can see that we ignited the engine of the automobile consumption nationwide.
According to the article, the Citroën C6 is only the beginning. as time goes on, more auto companies will be offering major price cuts. So people who plan to shop for vehicles this year can wait a little bit more. Perhaps in 2 or 3 months, there will be an unexpected price drop. The prediction in this article is exactly right. 2 days later, on March 9th, BYD's official WeChat feed announced a marketing campaign for its 2 main models between March 10th and 31st. Their prices have been reduced by about $1,017 and $1,317 respectively. BYD is Tesla's rival in China. As early as February this year, there were rumors that BYD had joined the price cut bandwagon, but BYD denied it at the time, saying that it was only a promotional move by its dealers and that the company wasn't considering lowering prices. China's official media, the paper, reported on March 11th that the official announcement of price cuts by the industry's leaders such as BYD and Shanggan Automobile is of great significance, and insiders in the auto industry are concerned about the price-cutting involution as the move is suicidal. The report went on to quote an industry insider, "China's auto industry has excess capacity. The sales volume of many auto companies is less than 10,000 units. And if production and sales volume is too low, the production line won't be able to sustain its operations." Even for large auto companies such as Dongfeng, keeping plants running is more important than making a profit or reducing losses from a certain point of view. Look, here's the scene at the No. 3 Honda plant in Wuhan, where there are a large number of vehicles in stock. Now this auto price-cutting frenzy has spread across China. Shanghai, Zhejiang, Henan, Sichuan, and dozens of other provinces and cities have followed the practice of the Hubei provincial government to introduce relevant policies to promote auto consumption. In about half a month's time, many automakers followed up with price cuts of about $15,000. A FAW supplier told Radio Free Asia that FAW Audi started a 70% discount promotion, and for other models, the price reduction range is basically 50 to 60%. Henan province extended its subsidy policy until the end of March 2023, giving consumers a subsidy of 5% of their purchase price for new vehicles purchased in the province. Tianjin granted $8.72 million in auto spending subsidies, and Shandong province gave out $29 million in auto spending vouchers. At the same time, some auto companies launched internal campaigns for employees to purchase vehicles at ultra-low prices. For example, SAIC, Volkswagen, Audi recently launched an internal promotion for employees, and the purchase price of 3 of its models, A7L, Q6, and Q5 e-tron, was reduced by $10,000 to $24,000 compared with the official guide price. Chinese media recently reported that the general manager of a Japanese joint venture, 4S Store, Sales, Spare Part, Service, Survey, or Automobile Sales Service Shop, in Hangzhou, said he had been running the business for 18 years and had encountered many tough times, but for the first time in 2022, a loss was incurred. He said, "Almost none of the vehicles sold now are profitable and are still being promoted at reduced prices, so times are really hard. Now Hangzhou's 4S stores of the same brand don't promote as hard as Hubei, but the discount on many of the models isn't small either." Judging by the data, China's auto market is under excessive pressure and the inventory index keeps climbing. China's January auto sales were 1.649 million units. It plunged 35% from last year, making it the worst record for the same period in this century. On March 8th, the Automobile Market Research Branch of the China Automobile Dealers Association, CAMA, released an analysis of the national passenger vehicle market in February 2023. It shows that the cumulative retail sales from January to February were 2.679 million units, down 19.8% year-on-year. And the total production of passenger cars between January and February in the broad sense fell by 15.1% year-on-year. CAMA data shows that the inventory warning index of Chinese auto dealers was 58.1% in February, up 2% year-on-year. The survey shows that 80.2% of dealers believe that sales in February failed to meet expectations, inventory pressure was high, the capital flow was poor, and dealers' business conditions declined due to fierce market competition and price reductions by many auto companies. The trend of price cuts in the new vehicle market has also had an impact on China's used car industry. A used car dealer in Wuhan, Hubei province, told a Chinese media reporter, now that many models have been reduced in price, it is difficult to find a market for used cars without price cuts, and everyone is trying to figure out what to do. The most direct driver of the price cut frenzy in March is the upcoming implementation of a new vehicle emission standard by the Chinese government. The Hubei government is offering a highly subsidized promotion in the name of clearing as much inventory as possible before the implementation of the National 6B carbon emission standard on July 1, 2023. This standard is known as National 6 or National 6 Motor Vehicle Emission Standard. China gradually implemented this standard in phases and in certain regions starting July 1, 2019. With the National 6A standard fully implemented on July 1, 2021, and the more stringent National 6B standard to be fully implemented on July 1, 2023. Compared with the National 6A, the National 6B emission standard requires further reductions in carbon monoxide, non-methane hydrocarbons, nitrogen oxides, etc. Among them, hydrocarbons and non-methane total hydrocarbons are expected to be reduced by about 50% compared to the National 6A. Auto companies that previously used the National 6A emission standard must increase inventory clearance efforts before July 1st, and price reductions are one of the most effective means. Looking deeper, the fall in prices reflects increased competition in China's domestic market. First of all, China's domestic demand continues to be sluggish. It can be seen in China's import volume. China's official data shows that its imports from January to February this year were worth $389.4 billion, down 10.2% year-on-year. Data released by the General Administration of Customs of China on March 7th showed that China's total imports from Taiwan fell by 30.9%, South Korean imports fell by 29%, followed by a 26.26% drop in New Zealand imports. As such, China has become the exporter with the largest decline in Taiwan's recent exports. Taiwan's Ministry of Finance of the Republic of China announced on March 7th preliminary customs import and export trade statistics for February, showing that in February, Taiwan's exports to China, including Hong Kong, fell 30.2% year-on-year. The largest decline compared to other countries or regions, and all major goods exports fell. Among Taiwan's exports to China, the sharp decline is mostly related to high-tech industrial products. For example, information, communication, and audiovisual products fell by 43%, optical equipment fell by 39.3%, and electronic components fell by 31.3%. South Korea's exports to China have fallen for 9 consecutive months, ending in February. Its February export to China fell the most, by 24.2%, and most products were down except for wireless communication products. China's external demand is falling as well. China's total exports from January to February were worth $506.3 billion, down 6.8% year-over-year. China's exports to the U.S. have been falling year-over-year since August 2022, and the decline has been gradually widening. Between January and February, China's total exports of goods to the U.S. fell 21.8% year-over-year. Only those to Russia rose 19.8%, and those to ASEAN rose 9%, but China's trade surplus was previously largely accounted for by the U.S. The U.S. was once China's top export destination, and a sharp drop in exports to the U.S. is bound to affect China's earned foreign exchange as well as its economic recovery in 2023. The United States and Japan have gradually reduced their dependence on China's supply chain. With the mass exit of their supply chains, it will subsequently affect the supply chains of Europe and Taiwan to move out of mainland China as well. From the mentioned background, we can see that the price war in the Chinese auto industry will not lead to any positive effects over the long term. But without price cuts, it is difficult for Chinese automakers to find a way out quickly. A noteworthy phenomenon is that foreign automakers are also involved in the price war. In early 2023, Tesla started a price war in China. A well-known German car expert, Ferdinand Dudenhofer, pointed out in an interview with Deutsche Welle that Tesla's factory in Shanghai has very high profits. He judged that Tesla's profit margin could reach up to 25%. When Tesla sells a car at a price of 100,000 euros, it can earn 25,000 euros, so it can easily reduce the price by 5,000 euros to 10,000 euros. It doesn't need to sell cars at a loss in order to capture market share. But for the other automakers, it is not so. Tesla is using this kind of price war around the world, including in China, hoping to squeeze the competition out of the market. This round of price cuts possibly started by Tesla's price reduction, and the price war may intensify further, leading to a reshuffle in the automobile industry. The enterprise that first surrenders part of its profits may be in sole position to develop further. One move can revive the whole business. German automakers aren't immune to the massive price cuts. In the electric car sector, after Tesla lowered the price of its electric cars in China several times, German automakers have also started to cut prices. German technology media Golin reported on March 15th that BMW and Volkswagen have both lowered the prices of some of their electric cars in China. German business media Capital said in a March 15th article, even the most stringent cost cuts won't be able to make up for so many production cost savings in the short term. In other words, Volkswagen is probably saving its market share in China at the expense of profit margins. China is one of the most important auto markets for German automakers. In 2022, 23.2 million passenger vehicles were sold in China, almost 9 times as many as in Germany, and almost double the number in Europe as a whole. Dudenhofer said that the current price war is a big risk for German automakers, because German brands have been making good profits in China, and now they have to face the problem of price cuts and significantly reduce profits. And other automakers don't have the same profit margins as Tesla. So foreign auto companies are caught in the helpless situation of price cuts. Is it just due to market factors? We have observed that there is a deliberate push by the Chinese Communist government behind the scenes. What is the most powerful advantage of Made in China? It is the price. In a March 17th report on a related topic on Radio Free Asia, a Chang'an automobile supplier who requested anonymity said that under the Communist Party's mandatory upgrade to electric vehicles, the biggest victims of this price war are likely to be the foreign automakers. They have formed joint ventures with the Chinese. After obtaining their initial technology and management know-how, the Chinese counterparts start a new venture and dominate the market by selling at low prices. Eventually, these foreign automakers are booted out of the market. He said there will definitely be a group of major automakers that will fall, including Ford. Chinese automaker Chang'an has now surpassed Ford in sales volume, such as Chang'an's new energy vehicles and hybrids, including traditional gasoline-powered vehicles. He also cited the example of Japan's Suzuki Motor. When the CCP first allowed Suzuki to enter China in 1984, Suzuki provided technology to the Chinese market, becoming one of the first Japanese auto companies to enter the Chinese market. In 1993, it formed a joint venture with Chang'an Automobile and established Chang'an Suzuki. In 2018, Suzuki Motors sold its 50% stake to Chang'an Automobile for yuan in cash and exited China. This means that European and American automakers are swallowing the bitter fruits of their investments in China. Since 2018, in addition to Suzuki, GAC FIC, Fiat, Peugeot, Citroën, and Renault have all been driven out of China. In 2001, Ford USA joined forces with Chang'an Automobile to become Chang'an Ford, officially entering the Chinese market. Since 2016, Chang'an Ford sales experienced a cliff-like plunge, and for the whole year of 2022, Chang'an Ford had accumulated sales of 251,000 units, down 17.61% year-on-year. In 2023, Ford has been cutting back on its workforce. The Chinese media described it this way: Over the past 20 years, Chang'an Ford, which was once a hot brand in China, is no longer in its former glory and has been gradually marginalized as a declining car brand. While big names like Volkswagen, GM, Nissan, Toyota, and Tesla continue to rank high in China in terms of sales, the drive to replace them with deep CCP involvement has continued to close the gap. At the same time, the official Chinese press is engaged in an organized effort to suppress Tesla and ban negative news about domestic new energy vehicles such as BYD.